Hello and welcome to Audio Energy. I'm Shannon, and today we're going to be looking at some Slate digital plugins. Okay, welcome back. Today we're going to look at some Slate digital plugins. I'm going to go through a couple of the reasons why I got them and why I think they're really worth getting. Some of the plugins worth looking at. And if I've got time, I might open up a Pro Tools session that I got and just show you where I've put these and how they work. So let's have a bit of a look. Now, I've just got over a bit of a flu here, so you'll have to excuse me if I sound a bit croaky. So Steve sells his in a bundle. Is obviously the best way to get these. 3 different packages. A lot of websites are doing this because basically it's good stability for the company. It's affordable for us as students, or if you're a new graduate. I'm a new graduate, and I had to get these as I was going through. And look, really affordable, great value. We looked at East West in another review I did, and they have a similar model. Avid Pro Tools also has a similar model. And it's just a great way to be able to afford getting some really good software so you can start building up and having something to use when you want to record somebody. So if you're a producer or an audio engineer or whatever you're doing, these are well worth looking at. So the first one is your annual paid monthly, $14.99. It's just deducted automatically, I would assume, from your account. Pretty much all these bundles are the same. They have every single Slate plugin, every single new plugin, top third-party plugins, never-ending free updates, everything you need for pro mixes, authentic analog modeling, and a free iLock will be thrown in as well if you don't have one. You'll need that if you run Pro Tools. And these iLocks on their own, iLock 2s, are about $50. So they're doing a good deal for you. The next one is month to month, $24.99. So you're paying a little bit more because you're not providing them with the security of always paying for it every month. So that a little bit more, and you can stop whenever you go. So a bit of a benefit for both sides. They get a little bit extra because of the maybe lack of security in the constant sale, but you also still get the same benefit as you would from this one here. I actually did the annual paid up front. I paid a little bit more when I got mine, so I'm pretty sure they've actually come down in price. This is great value for these plugins. It's excellent value. And we used to make a little joke when I was in the studio at JMC, and when the teacher was talking about plugins or cleaning something up, and we happened to mention the Slate bundle, we go, "Oh, did you know the Slate bundle was $24.95 per month?" So we'd have this little kind of ongoing joke there. Every time Slate was mentioned, we'd give it a plug to each other and that sort of thing. So it was always a bit funny. Okay, what you get: a whole series of EQs. These are EOSIS, the air module. It's good for raising up the the high end of stuff, and a bit of get that shimmer and all that sort of thing. You've got the earth. You can bring up a little bit more of the low intensities and some of the bassier parts of your music. Sonic Revival Enhancer. You got your British discrete EQ. So basically, these are these ones in the background that you can see here. There's your SSL. You got these ones here, which I'm not sure what this one's modeled on, but might be just one of their own genuine sort of models. I'm not quite sure. Then you also have mastering processors and the virtual tape machines. These are the 2 that I bought the whole package for. Simply just these 2. And then I saw how cool all these other ones were. And these compressors, they've got some great compressors in here. They've got some great preamps, simulators as well. And they just recently put in the de-esser. They've very recently added the Verb Suite. I downloaded that the other day, but I haven't had a chance to use it yet. Excuse me. They got the delays coming soon, which I've just seen. I think that's really cool. And you get your amp simulators as well. So all this, man, for $179 is unbelievable. Just unbelievable value. And they all work nice. They all look really good. Sound great, and you can really notice the difference in your mix while you're doing it. And I will say too, at this point, when you go to the top here and you see tutorials, there's a number of tutorials that Steve's done. Here we are here, on how to put all these together, how to use them in a good mix and things like that, how to mix the drums. And you can hear them with the good eardrums, but I've got to say, the video for some reason doesn't bring out as much as you actually do hear. You hear a really big difference when you're using these. Just really rich fatness in the drums if that's what you want. The EQs are very sensitive. Where's our EQs? Here, there's more compressors and bass stuff and EQs. And here we are, a virtual mix rack. Well, I press play. Well, I don't want to watch it, but you can see there's plenty of tutorials. Let's go to my plugins. So these are the plugins. You get all these in one bundle, all of them. You have your new verb suites, you have your dynamic processors, you have your virtual amps, your preamps. These are really good just for adding a bit of nice warmth. I usually put them at the beginning of the chain because you can basically chain all these, all right? And I think you can probably put in about 5 or 6 at once, I think, in each chain, and really go to work on your mix. Then you have your virtual consoles. So within these, you have about 5 or 6 different models of console. You have your Neve, you have your SSL, you have your Trident desk. You can go into more. It's all explained in a lot of the documents and stuff that they have. Okay, so this is for a mix bus. So if you have all your drums going through, and then you run all your drums to a mix bus, you can put this on. This will probably be one of your first ones, and then you probably maybe put in a preamp after that or before. It's up to you. Then you might want to put in some EQ and go from there. These EQs here, the SSL, and this is a compressor here, is based on the 1176 limiter. Here's another compressor, and here's your Neve style one. Now I'm just going to jump into these and have a quick look and show you. The Neve, you probably noticed, doesn't actually have a Q on it, whereas the SSL does. So this is your Q here, so you can thin out your band, push up your gain, and do a EQ sweep, okay, and really pinpoint some of those problem frequencies. Now they're very, very sensitive. So I noticed the range was sort of from here to about back to 0 because it's your center point. When you're pulling back the gain, you can really notice a lot around this area, and it seems to really pull it back, especially when you're working on the higher peaks and stuff. It'll really cut that out. So make sure you do have it on a reasonably thin wedge Q when you're doing that, and you're not sort of cutting away too much from the rest of your mix. The Neve one, I use the Neve quite a lot. It's really good, but I might only use that, and I might increase something by half a dB or 1.5 dB max, and it's just really nice. It gives a nice little brightness on the high level here, the top shelf. It's more for working stuff around sort of 9, 10, 11, 12K, that area. Same with this one here, but you can change it. Each of them have a frequency range that they work within. Very sensitive, very accurate. They also have a filter. They've got a bell shape if you want to put a bell on it. Instead of a roll-off. So, yeah. Look, great plugins. You can get a demo there and try it out. So let's just jump back. I want to show you the 2 main plugins that I bought it for. They got the Distressor model. That'll be coming out very shortly. I'm not exactly sure when, but they said soon, so I'll be looking forward to that. Your Revival here, that's going to add a bit of thickness and a bit of shimmer to you. Like if you put on a drum kit, it's usually pretty good for drum kit. Personally, I don't use this one very much. There's actually another one I use, which is, see if I can find it here. It's actually not listed here. It's called the Lift. See if I can find it. There it is. This is the one I use. This is, it's great, this one. Gives a lot more punch. You can go punchy, or you can just go big. You can go silky on the mids, or you can go more presence. Just a beautiful, I suppose you could call it dynamic enhancer, I guess. Now, one of the most important ones, I think, is this. This is your FGX mastering processor, and when once you've mastered your track and mixed your track and you bounce it down and you want to master it, this is what you put on your mix bus at the end, right? Or your master track if you want to. Let's have a look at this. Essentially, it's a stacked system. It has a compressor, it has a leveler, and it has your readout. Basically, your metering. So your compressor is very sensitive from 1 to 1, which is not much use, but between 1 and 1.5, you can really get in all those ranges. You can lift it up, and you can just give along the top, and just on your peaks if you like, or you can go dig right down deeper into the mix. On your leveler, you can actually add a little bit of gain and push up a bit of the low punch there, a bit of detail. Sometimes it can seem to affect, from what I've noticed, a little bit of the balance in levels between your left and right tracks, but I don't know, maybe that's a phenomena thing. Maybe it's in my mix. The other thing is the constant gain monitoring. You can put this button on, you activate this, and it maintains a constant level of the sound that you're hearing from your speakers, and you can push the gain up. And then once you've sort of added a bit of gain, you can take this off, see how it sounds, and basically do an A/B mix between the original sound and the new level that you've just got. Also give some dynamic perception to it as well. So very, very useful. And the other big reason I got it was because it's very hard to find a peak and RMS leveler together because you need to measure both of those. Just gives you a good understanding, and this is how you can really raise your song up while maintaining a good dynamic sort of balance. You can increase the dynamic range, reduce the dynamic range by pushing this up and adding gain and so forth. So you can basically set your levels according to dB where you want the song to sit as a completed mix. Really well worth it. I just use this on my mastering when I do mastering of tracks and so forth, and I have my levels usually based on was it Bobcat's indications of what he says, and I like to follow him a little bit with that. And basically what he talks about, Bobcat's is a mastering engineer, and it really sort of explains where mixes should be based on what they're going on. So radio mixes, probably want to have it sitting around 12. Most other mixes around 14. A lot of acoustic mixes and orchestrals, anything for film, usually sits down around 20, but maybe 18. And that way you're giving yourself a large dynamic sort of range there for it to move around in. All in all, it doesn't really matter that much as long as you sort of don't want to go over 6, because then you're really limiting your headroom and causing problems for mixers later on when they go into, especially if it's going on radio, because those things just smash it. And it can cause problems, when you go to hear your song on the radio and it sounds like shite. So, or it's having problems with other mixes and so forth. So, but look up Bobcat's mastering and have a bit of read of that too. It's well worth knowing. We're doing some tutorials coming up probably in a few weeks. Something going on here. In a few weeks I'll be starting some more tutorials and starting some new ones and looking at all sorts of different stuff. So here's a virtual tape machine. I'll just quickly have a look at that. Okay, virtual tape machine. You have your speeds, 15 and 30. You have your 2-inch 16 track and 1/2-inch 2 track. You have 2 different modes of tape type, I guess. Your input, okay, and which is chain linked to your output. So as you drive one, it reduces the other. You can unlink those, no problem at all. You have a bypass, and then you have your settings button. Now, this is good for adding, if you're using virtual instruments and you're doing a mix down, or you think it sounds a little bit too kind of digitally and cold and a little bit sterile, you can run through an aux bus with this on it and maybe another compressor and into an audio track. and then record it down. I do that sometimes with things, and it just gives a bit of a softer touch and a really nicer sort of finish, and gets rid of that kind of cold, sterile, sharp digital sound. So that's what these are really good for as well. Look, worth the money, $179 a year. Or you can go $14.99 a month, $24.99 a month. Excellent value. These are excellent tools. You have all your tutorials here as well. There you go. Videos on all sorts of things. You have Artist Lounge. And he's really done everything he can as a software designer and an engineer to really address kind of a pretty big existing problem in modern audio recording with digital and stuff anyway. So I encourage you to really get down and have a look. I'm going to quickly pause this and we'll have a look at a setup in my Pro Tools. I'll be back shortly. Alrighty, so here's a session by a friend from uni that we recorded, one of our last trimesters. A song called Feeling Good. But I'm just going to show you, like, these are our drum tracks, and put a few different things in here. This is co-produced by myself and a few other three other students actually. Okay. So we're looking at the main sort of, we basically record everything in the studio on a Yamaha, I think it was 2100 48 channel desk. It was a good desk, you know. And then we brought it home and put it all in, recorded it all raw, brought it home, and then we basically did some mixes in the box, and moved between there and the studio and did some different things. But I wanted to just do a mix where I had these on it. So here you can see, so we got the kick, the snare, a bit of verb for the snare. We got the tom, the floor tom, overhead left and right, overhead verb, overhead mix, the room mics, cowbell, shaker, tambo, and we got our drum sub, and I just did a print of that as well. So it's our drums. Now when you open the the Slate Group, here we are here. So I basically put on a virtual mix bus here. Got it set on the British Neve. Also got the Neve preamp and pumped it up to a bit of juice. You can also trim here a little bit too, which is good. I've got my SSL. Okay, I've returned the sweeps, and I got my lift. I think that's everything I got on this. So basically, let's have a listen. See if I can record these. So you're hearing some voices there, but probably not the best example at the moment. So we went through all these different channels here. Here's our masters. And then we come down to our buses, mix buses, parallel compression. Down here, let's have a look. So I've got my greys on a few of these because I like the grey. And then we blend it in. I run it back through a stereo imager just to give it a bit more expansion. A bit of gain, and there's our grey. There's my grey there. And it's just on the bus there. Got the limiter. Which one's this? Yeah, I put my limiter on there, so I just put that at 0.3 and ceiling 0.1. And ran it through. So that was the mix. That's how I had the mix set up. And you can see I usually just ran the Slate tools only on the buses. Right. Most of these, especially with the bass and everything like that, I really didn't even add a lot of EQ to. So, let's see, what else have we got here? A bit of verb. So you can see on each of these, just once in a while, I've popped in. See, these are all guitars. Electric guitars, different guitars, and all that sort of thing. So it's quite a bit of a mix. And then I got rid of that. Okay, so here is the Feeling Good Master. All right, and basically I just have an auxiliary channel with some EQ on it, a second lot of EQ with a little bit of gain, and my mix box here. Here we are, so I've got the bomber on it, a little bit of punch, got the air and the custom EQ, and I also have on my master my FGX, and here's what she sounds like. Now you can hear, if I put that on, that's my constant monitoring, so I can actually push that up. So it's sitting around 14, minus 14. Peak is at 1, of course. And we've got the compression at about 1.2. Reasonably mid-speed attack. A little bit of a slower release. I've pushed the threshold down to our minus 17, 16, something like that. And it's going to go up to about 11, 12, but it's not going to really exceed that. So you can see that in action there. So I could actually give it more punch. Give it a bit more presence. And I can give that a bit of a boost. So you can sort of hear that go. Give it a bit more intensity there if I want to. Fatten it up. Yeah, there you go. So that's a little bit of an expression and interest, bit of a look at how I've sort of done things here. I hope this has been really useful to you, a bit helpful. Check out Slate, well worth investing in. Please subscribe to my channel if you like this review. Spread it around, share everyone, tell everyone, all that sort of thing. You can like me on Facebook at Audio Energy in Oz at Facebook. And check out my website, audioenergy.com. I hope this has been really helpful for you too, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.